Thank you for watching Extension Ed Talks on Nex-Tech Local 1. We're here to talk about Alzheimer's disease. But why? How many of us know someone with Alzheimer's disease or dementia? These days, most people will know someone with Alzheimer's, and that's scary. Multiple experts and sources have called Alzheimer's the biggest health crisis facing the world today. Today we're going to talk about the difference between Alzheimer's and dementia, the warning signs of Alzheimer's, and why early detection and diagnosis are so important. I'm Jamie Rathbun, Family and Consumer Science Agent with the Midway Extension District. I would like to start out by discussing some key terms that you'll hear today: dementia and Alzheimer's. So what's the difference? Dementia is an umbrella term used to describe a set of symptoms. Specifically, its definition is a decline in mental ability severe enough to interfere with your daily life. There are several causes of dementia, the largest of which is Alzheimer's. So, dementia is a symptom of Alzheimer's disease. There are also other causes of dementia, and you can see some of them underneath the dementia umbrella that was just on the slide. Alzheimer's, what is it? So we don't know that dementia is a symptom of Alzheimer's disease. So what is Alzheimer's? Alzheimer's is an irreversible, progressive brain disease that slowly destroys memory and thinking skills, and, eventually, the ability to carry out the simplest tasks. One of the biggest misconceptions about Alzheimer's disease is that it will not kill you. Alzheimer's disease can kill you and is estimated to be the third leading cause of death among older Americans. As you could see from the photo, Alzheimer's disease attacks the brain and breaks it down. It starts in the hippocampus, where your short-term memory is stored, and goes on from there. The hippocampus is in the center back of your brain. Alzheimer's disease deteriorates this part of the brain so much that it starts out the size of a thick, plump cocktail wiener, and it can eventually shrivel down to the size of just a pea. Remember, this is where your short-term memory is stored. This is the reason why so many people with Alzheimer's can remember what happened 40 years ago, but cannot tell you what they did 5 minutes ago. Now that we've talked about the difference between dementia and Alzheimer's, and what Alzheimer's disease is, let's find out what are some of the signs. What should you be looking out for? According to the Alzheimer's Association, there are 10 warning signs of Alzheimer's disease. The first being memory loss that disrupts your daily life. With typical aging, a person sometimes forgets names or appointments, but will later remember them. One of the most common signs of Alzheimer's disease, especially in the early stages, is forgetting recently learned information. To compensate for this, a person with Alzheimer's might ask the same questions repeatedly, or rely on memory aids such as sticky notes, audio recorders that they may carry with them to help them remember the important things people are telling them. Sign number 2 are challenges in planning or solving problems. How many of us have made a mistake when preparing a recipe, balancing a checkbook, or something similar to that? Doing those things occasionally is very normal. What is not normal is when these challenges occur more and more frequently and consistently. Sign number 3, difficulty completing familiar tasks. Think about it. How many steps does it take you to tie your shoes? Most of us would say 4 or 5. It's different for everyone. Some people do rabbit ears, some people do a loop-de-loop, but for a person with Alzheimer's, it's going to be a lot more complicated than that. Where are my shoes? Which one is my left foot? Which shoe goes on my left foot? Which is my right? What was I doing? We're going to watch a quick video from Joyce. These videos were produced by the Alzheimer's Association, and Joyce is going to share with us her biggest challenge as she's been diagnosed with Alzheimer's disease.
The biggest challenge is in reading and in doing simple tasks like just counting change That's really hard for me. I can balance a checkbook. If someone gives me a series of coins, I have a hard time really figuring out how much change I should get. That's so, for somebody with a PhD, that's like crazy. And I think it's hard for me to come to grips with that.
Sign number 4 is confusion with time or place. How many of us have ever forgotten what day it was and then remembered it later? That's very normal. With Alzheimer's, however, people can lose total track of dates, seasons, and even the passage of time. Sometimes they'll forget where they are and how they got there. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll continue highlighting the 10 signs of Alzheimer's disease.
T-Max Trucking, LLC delivers service you can depend on and serves all of Northwest Kansas. They have shale pits located from Logan to Waukene that provide convenient access to your location. T-Max Trucking specializes in road maintenance, and they have a dozer, dump truck, backhoe, and grader to get the job done right. Their locally based business was established in 2012 and is both licensed and insured. Let T-Max Trucking, LLC deliver service you can depend on.
Make a difficult choice an easy one with Cedar View Assisted Living's knowledgeable and caring staff. Your loved one will be professionally taken care of as they transition into their new community. With movies, holiday parties, planned exercises, and games, residents will have opportunities every day to enjoy their time at Cedar View. Multiple room styles are available, ensuring a just right fit for your loved one. Come see Cedar View Assisted Living for yourself next to Sternberg Museum. The care you need, the home you want.
Welcome back to today's Extension Ed Talk. Alzheimer's, know the 10 signs. We're learning the 10 warning signs of Alzheimer's disease. Sign number 5, trouble understanding visual images and spatial relationships. Typical aging includes vision changes. You might need glasses or even develop cataracts. But for some people, vision decline can be a sign of Alzheimer's disease. Have you ever heard of a person with advanced Alzheimer's being scared to take a shower or a bath? This problem is fairly typical and occurs for many reasons, one of which is that they often cannot see the bottom of the tub. Imagine a bathtub in a hotel, a nursing home, or a place where the fixtures are all normally white. To a person with Alzheimer's, they may not be able to see the bottom of that tub and can be scared to death to get in it. This is one example of how visual images and spatial relationships can affect a person with Alzheimer's. Another thing to note is that driving becomes particularly difficult for folks with Alzheimer's as well, because they're trying to visualize the distance between the cars in front of them, the cars behind them, in their rearview mirror, and they're managing multiple rearview mirrors and looking out the front window, and turning from mirror to mirror and looking to the front can cause some confusion, and they're also trying to judge those distances, which can be very difficult for them as well. Sign number 6 is new problems with words in speaking or in writing. What's that thing called that you wear on your wrist that tells you the time? A watch, right? Well, a person with Alzheimer's may not be able to remember what that is called. Instead, they might call it a hand clock or some other unusual name. Warning sign number 7 is misplacing things and losing the ability to retrace their steps. How many of us have ever walked into a room and totally forgot why we came in there? It happens to everyone. But for a person with Alzheimer's, that can happen a lot, and they will never remember why they went into that room. You and I might come in from the grocery store, set down groceries, and set down our keys at the same time. It might not be the normal place that we place our keys, or maybe we normally place them in a basket or hang them on a hook. And if we've just left them on the counter, we we can retrace our steps and usually find them. It might take us a few seconds or a couple minutes to figure it out, but a person with Alzheimer's disease has problems thinking through the sequence of events that have happened to have caused them to misplace their keys. They're having a hard time retracing. I went to the store, I carried in the groceries, where did I unpack the groceries? So it can take them a very, very long time to figure it out, and that's if they even do figure it out. Typically they do not, they are not able to retrace those steps, and their keys are missing for quite a while. Sign number 8 is decreased or poor judgment. This is very common in people with Alzheimer's disease, and it can be very devastating. There are many stories of people with Alzheimer's giving large amounts of money to a charity or to telemarketers when they really can't afford it, simply because they are unaware of what they are doing and how much money they actually should be spending. Number 9 is withdrawal from work or social activities. A person with Alzheimer's may remove themselves from hobbies, social activities, or family gatherings. They might even have trouble keeping up with their favorite sports team, or they might stop attending their weekly bridge game. Staying social becomes harder for a person with Alzheimer's. They can struggle to follow conversations, and they might not want people to know that they're struggling. Our final warning sign of Alzheimer's is changes in mood and personality. It's fairly common for a person with Alzheimer's to experience changes in their mood and personality. They can be easily upset and may feel confused, suspicious, depressed, fearful, or even anxious. This is particularly true if they are out of their comfort zone, such as in public or around other people. That can be a very scary experience for them. We're going to take another break. Stick with us. When we come back, we'll be talking about what to do if you notice any of the 10 warning signs in yourself or a loved one. And we're going to note why early detection of Alzheimer's is so very important.
Your home's exterior is the best defense against harsh weather conditions. With insulated vinyl siding, energy-efficient windows, spray foam insulation, and metal roofing from AquaShield Roofing and Construction, you can protect your home from howling winds and ice-cold temperatures. Don't let Mother Nature interfere with the comfort of your home. Call or visit us online today for a free estimate. AquaShield Roofing and Construction. Our team is dedicated to your complete satisfaction.
Hi?
We're looking for insurance.
Let's see who's free.
When insurance agents work for only one company, their options are simply limited. But a Trusted Choice independent agent is free to shop many companies for a better deal. Free to do what's right for you.
Let us shop for you. Contact Rogers & Associate to learn more.
We're back with this edition of Extension Ed Talks. Alzheimer's, know the 10 signs. We've discussed the 10 warning signs of Alzheimer's disease. Now I would like to briefly mention what you should do if you or someone you know is experiencing any or all of the 10 signs. Go to a doctor. This does not have to be a specialist or anyone other than your primary care physician. In fact, it's best to start with your primary care physician because it might not even be Alzheimer's. There are other health challenges that can cause dementia-like symptoms. Health problems such as vitamin deficiencies and urinary tract infections are 2 examples. So your primary care physician's first goal will be to rule out other likely causes. But what if it is Alzheimer's? Alzheimer's is a disease that cannot be prevented, treated, or cured. So why should you even bother going to the doctor? I will tell you, these were my exact thoughts when I was first introduced to teaching about the warning signs of Alzheimer's. What I found out at training was that there are so many benefits of early detection and diagnosis. It's so crucial to educate yourself and your family members about Alzheimer's disease before or as soon as you or a loved one receives a diagnosis. Alzheimer's is a fairly predictable disease. Researchers and doctors know that you are going to experience certain challenges. Through early detection and diagnosis, you can begin to learn and understand the disease process. This also allows you to be able to explore resources in your community and online. In larger communities in Kansas, identifying support services may not be as difficult, but for those of us who reside in the more rural areas, this can take some time and planning. We're going to go to another video. This is Susan talking about her sister Marianne's diagnosis. She's noting for us to not be afraid to talk about it.
I would hope that families could be gentle but straightforward. I would hope that they wouldn't minimize the challenge of this or make it larger than it needs to be. So I guess I would say you have to be aware that changes are coming, but they're coming, inch by inch and sometimes foot by foot. But most often, you just have to talk about it. Not to be afraid to talk about it, not to be worried about how to talk about it, but talk about it. Because if you don't, I think that there's going to be 1 or 2 days where you just find there are arresting moments and you have no idea where to put that or how to manage that. Not to be afraid, just to talk.
So remember, don't be afraid to talk about it. There are many benefits to having that diagnosis of Alzheimer's disease, and we're going to continue talking about why having a diagnosis can be a benefit to you. Early detection and diagnosis can also allow you or your loved one to remain independent for a longer period of time. Through advanced preparations, you can prepare your home and environment to support you or your loved one. You can take the time to identify at-home support services, make plans for caregiving, and more. Although there is no prevention treatment or cure for Alzheimer's disease, there are some medical interventions to consider. There are currently 5 medicines that aim to treat the symptoms of Alzheimer's disease. These drugs do not treat the disease itself, they rather attempt to slow down the symptoms or lessen some of the symptoms. Without early detection and diagnosis, you would not be able to receive the maximum benefit from available treatments. Furthermore, by seeking early diagnosis, you may also be able to participate in clinical trials. Clinical trials provide high-quality medical care, and you might even be able to take experimental drugs, have treatments or therapies that will improve your condition. You never know. Through early detection and diagnosis, you can also participate in planning your own future health care. Which doctor would you prefer? Where would you like to be treated? If you had to go into a long-term care facility, where would you want to go? You can answer these questions yourself and express your own preferences if you seek an early diagnosis. You're also able to plan for your financial future and name someone you know and trust to make decisions for you when you become unable, by completing your advanced directives while you are cognitively able to do so. We're going to watch one last video produced by the Alzheimer's Association. This video is going to let us know why early diagnosis is so important.
My passion in life is to have people diagnosed as early as I was, so that the good part of their life can be extended. I wear an Alzheimer's bracelet every day that says there's reason to hope, and I think that's kind of my mantra, that if we can find the people that are out there and get them to a good place where the guy knows, the gal, whatever, knows what they're doing, and get diagnosed and get help.
Finally, Through early detection and diagnosis, you can reduce the burden and stress on your family members and loved ones. No one wants to be a burden at the end of their life. Advanced preparation can definitely reduce the toll that Alzheimer's will take on the sufferer and their family. If you would like more information on this Extension Ed Talk, Alzheimer's, Know the 10 Signs, you can contact your local K-State Research and Extension office. We are located in every county across the state. If you're not sure where to find us, visit the website www.ksre.ksu.edu. Using the menu on the left side, choose County and District Offices. This will link you to a map of the state. If you hover your mouse over your county, you will find contact information for your local extension office. Resources for this Alzheimer's Know the 10 Signs program are available at many of the extension offices across the state. We have a checklist here that identifies those 10 signs of Alzheimer's disease and spells them out. There's also some blank spaces on this paper where you are able to fill in maybe what particular signs you're seeing in yourself or another loved one, so that when you would go to a physician to seek a diagnosis of whatever problem is causing the memory loss in you or your loved one, you're able to give them some very detailed information about what you are seeing and why you are concerned. Again, I'm Jamie Rathbun, Family and Consumer Sciences Agent with the Midway Extension District. Thank you for joining me with this Extension Ed Talk.